Hi everyone and welcome to or welcome back to my channel Stitches Past 5. My name is Vera and today I'm super excited to share all my winter knitting plans with you. So I made a similar video about my autumn knitting plans and that one actually went pretty well. I followed most things that were on my things of items to make list, and I completed most of them by now. So yeah, I think these planning out my new season of knitting really helps me, not just to stay on track but also to not get really motivated to start 100 different things and get carried away by something that I see on social media, which I think is so nice that we have these days, that there's so much inspiration out there. But with these lists I kind of save everything that I like throughout the year, and then I think, okay, when could I make this? When can I knit this? And these are sort of the items that I'm going to share with you. These are the items that are on my 2025, I guess, 2024, 2025 winter knitting list. So super exciting. A lot of these are items that I've wanted to make for a while. Some of these are items that kind of just caught my eye. But I'm gonna share all of them with you, all of the specs, and yeah. So this time I do have a lot or a few more larger objects. In my autumn knitting list I had 3 larger ones, one that I had already started, and now I do have some larger items per se, so I'm not really sure I'll get through them all, also because we're going to be traveling a whole bunch this winter, which is super exciting, but also we're traveling to the tropics, so I don't know if I can knit woolen sweaters in 30 degrees heat, so we'll see, stay tuned. But this is kind of what I'm thinking right now. If it doesn't happen, no worries at all. I have kind of listed them and the things I'm definitely gonna make, and then I have 1 or 2 more items that if I have the time I will get around to making them, then great, then I'll do it. But let's get into it. So the first one I've already started on, so kind of similar to my autumn list. This item I've already started on, and it is the diamond twill vest. Okay, so it is, so the pattern I have in my book 52 Weeks of Easy Knits, and the diamond twill vest is the 10th pattern in the book. I guess I should take my sticky note off. So it's called Diamond Twill, and it is this beautiful slip over vest with this, I hope you can see here, with this diamond detailing, and the pattern is solely created in stitches and purls. So yeah, I was excited because I have never really I love the idea of slipovers, but I don't really own any that I could wear. And I think the idea of a woolen slipover is a really interesting one to me, because wool is such a a nice heat, a nice warmth on your body. So yeah, this is the pattern I'm following. I guess there is another image at the back here, so this is maybe a better front-on image here. Currently I am at this point, so I basically started this knowing that I wanted to knit it in the winter, but I had a weekend that was just really chill and quiet, so I kind of sat down and just knit a bunch for quite this was basically a day or half a day of knitting, so I have made quite a bit of progress, but I haven't really touched it since either. So this is where I'm at the moment. It's a bottom-up vest, and yeah, I think I'm about to split for the armholes. But if you watch my podcast, you've already seen this, but this is actually one of my winter items that I want to make. The yarn that I'm using is the Drops Nepal mix, which is a wool alpaca blend, I believe. Yes, it is 65% wool and 35% alpaca, and this one is in the color 0618. So it is this kind of darker beige. It was important to me that I make this in a wool, that it's gonna be warm. Alpaca is usually even a little bit warmer than wool, so it will be a perfect piece in the winter, maybe at the office. when it's just a little bit of a colder day and when I want a little bit extra warmth. I'm making this in 5mm needles and the gauge is 17 stitches, but I had a gauge of 18 stitches. So I actually sized up one size. My normal size would be a size 2, but I sized up and I'm making a size 3 just because my gauge is a little bit, like I have more stitches in 10 centimeters. So I did some gauge maths and then I figured out that I should be making a size 3 for myself. Yeah, so that's my first plan. I guess it's already a plan that's kind of coming into reality. My diamond twill vest. And I should probably also mention the designer of this vest. It is Nina Pommerenke. Essentially, this book is a collection of patterns all by different designers, and so far I have to say, like, I'm a really big fan. I'm gonna do a book review of this as well later on once I've actually made a few more items, but this is the second item that I'm making, or I'll be making, out of this book, and like, it is a really well thought through knitting book. So just side note, I will do a book review of this later on, like I said. Okay, so moving on, my second item that I want to knit this winter is the Monday sweater by PetiteKnit. So this sweater I hear so many good things about. I think it's meant to be like a really good pattern, and a pattern that's easy to follow and just like your basic sweater pattern, and that's exactly what I'm looking for, because I have this sweater which looks fine, but I don't wear it because it is too small for me. So this was kind of like one of my first sweaters I ever made, and it was one of those things where I didn't really like have or know what like a good pattern was, so I just picked one. Then I didn't really like gauge swatch properly, and I've just learned a lot since making this sweater. I'm not sure I've ever even like showed this sweater on here just because it's been sitting in my bag of things to unravel. I initially like was quite happy with it because I thought, yay, I made it with the yarn that I had. But then I found more yarn, so I can finally now tell what yarn this was made out of, because when I was making the sweater, this was actually also like an unraveled vest that I made in brioche stitch, and that I blocked it, and then it grew 10 sizes, and then I couldn't wear it anymore. Then I made this into the sweater thinking, oh, a vest turning into a sweater, that's not a lot of yarn. Long story short, kind of regret making it because I made it too small. I never wear it. I've worn it like once or twice. So I think now that I found 2 more balls of yarn, literally found this like on the attic somewhere in the middle of nowhere, like did not know I had more yarn. But now that I have more yarn, I figured I have like 2 extra balls, that's 100 extra grams. I can actually make a sweater that I like that will fit me. So to start with, this yarn is the Wolle Rödelspott und Strumpfwolle color fashion. So I have no idea if this is still produced. It is a like wool blend, I guess. It's 25% superwash wool and then 25% polyamide. So I guess it's like more of a sock yarn, but like I'm never gonna make socks out of this thick of a yarn, I don't think. And I have a sweater amount with it if unraveling this goes fine. I have unraveled this once before and like it really unraveled just fine, like no real issues, like and it also knitted up quite nicely again. So this is kind of the stitch definition after the whole thing being unraveled before. So if all that goes well, I have bought some Friends Kid silk, which is this mohair silk blend, I believe. Yeah, it's 72% mohair, 25% silk, 3% wool, that I think I'm going to pair with this. So probably I'll do the darker one just because like the color matches relatively well, but maybe, I don't know, I'll probably gauge swatch and see what this one looks like, just the combination. But I did buy enough of the kid silk to kind of like accompany this wool throughout the whole sweater. So then that's kind of like my last hope for this yarn. Like, will I wear it? Will this become something that I love? So I hope by choosing the Monday sweater by PetiteKnit, by choosing the mohair with it, or the mohair silk with it, like hopefully it turns into something that I wear. It's just of a shame otherwise, like it's kind of like a bit of a shame. I hope that the gauge matches, so I'm actually gonna get my gauge swatch just off of the sweater and then figure out if the Monday sweater gauge matches. It's a 21 stitch gauge, so I might need to like, I think this is a bit bigger than, so I probably will like size down when like make an XS where I'm actually an S, and then it'll turn out a little bit bigger. But yes, that's where I'm at, and I really like just wanna unravel it, get it done, and like not have to, I don't know, I don't like having a sweater that I don't wear sitting in the back of my closet, or at the moment underneath my couch in a bag, and I'd rather have it be something that I really love. So I figured, let's give it another go. Maybe all good things are three, and the third time I remake something out of this yarn will be the time I wear it. We'll see, stay tuned. So that's the Monday sweater by PetiteKnit that I want to make this winter. The next items are from Kika or Veronika Lindberg's new book. This is her new book, Knits to Wear, and I am super excited that I have a copy of it. I will do like a review of it, but obviously I need to like, I want to make some items of it first. So far it's very like, it's very picturesque, it's very like artsy, which is like so lovely. But yeah, so there are a lot of patterns in here that are a lot of lace, and I'm just not sure I'm like a lace person per se. I'm not like saying that I'm not willing to try it, but I think like I've worked lace before and like it's fun, but it's not really like my area of expertise just yet. So I thought let's make the sweater that's like the most basic in here, because that's also like mostly my personal style, which like I'm really excited for that this sweater is in here. So the one I want to make is the Simple Things sweater, and it looks like this. So it's essentially this basic sweater. It is a drop shoulder. Here, maybe this is a better images of it. It is a drop shoulder sweater, which I haven't actually made too many because I'm just such a like lover of raglan. So I kind of, yeah, I'm excited to make this one. I just love like how sleek it looks, how like the ribbing is just really clean at the bottom here, and yeah, just basically your basic Simple Things sweater as the name suggests. I'm really happy that I found this yarn for it. So I sometimes it's like I never really know how to go about buying yarn, because just where I live I don't have too many yarn shops like at my disposal. I have a few, but then I really only have like 2 or 3 sweater yarns realistically to choose from. So while I do go shop there and I will buy yarn there, and I've bought a bunch of yarn there, I buy most of my sweater amounts like online. So I came across this upcycled Alpaca Blend by Hobbii, and it's essentially this like, I think it's like a fully recycled yarn. It is a DK weight yarn, supposedly. So, or DK Weight Sport, I guess. It's a Yarn Group 4 yarn, and it is a mix of, let me get this right, so it's 34% polyacrylic or acrylic, 33% alpaca, 33% wool. So that to me is a very interesting blend. I've kind of like wanted to move towards like a wool acrylic blend, but still not really lose the wool aspect of it. And then I found this one. This was part of a Black Friday sale, I believe, on Hobbii. So I actually got this for quite cheap. I think I paid like I'm gonna get it wrong, but it was part of a sale, and I purchased a sweater amount of this yarn specifically with this sweater in mind, because the gauge that's suggested on here is 19 stitches by 24 rows on 4.5mm needles, and that is exactly what this pattern calls for. So I thought it was perfect. Again, I'm right now like moving away from the bright colors a little bit, so I'm like hoping that this will be a color that will match me, will suit me, but I think it is, like it's like a darker beige. So yeah, super excited to make something out of the new knits to wear book, yay. And yeah, I just like love Veronika Lindberg. I think she's such an inspiration, so I'm really excited to try her new patterns and like actually make something from this book. Another thing, and like maybe my introduction to cabling or that direction, and another thing that's on my list of things to make this winter is this hat. So it is called the Twisted Hat, and it is essentially this twisted, yeah, what is this, cabling hat that kind of like features this wide brim that gets twisted together at the top. Again, from the same book, and just seems like something good to start with to get into like more cabling. I mean, I've done cabling before and I've done like lace before, but this is a cable pattern. But yeah, it's been a while, and I think therefore something like a hat just seems a lot more like approachable than something that's like a sweater. So yeah, I'm excited because I have one knitted hat currently that I wear every single day. So I'm excited to like hopefully make another one that I will also gravitate towards. I've made other hats, but I find with hats it's very difficult to find one that I will want to wear every single day, or to make one that I'll want to make every single day. So yeah, my hopes are high for this one. I mean, it just looks so gorgeous as well. Like this is just such a pretty design. I don't have the yarn for this one just yet, so I'm thinking once I make yeah, the sweaters, or once something is left over, or I'll look into my stash of just scraps or whatever is lying around there. I think it should be quite easy to find the yarn or the amount of yarn for this hat, or I'll go buy some, also fine. But yeah, so much for the items that I want to make out of this book in the near future, in this winter. So those are kind of all the things that like I for sure want to make. Also on this list, by the way, was these are the Elsa Mittens that I literally just finished this morning. I initially had these written on my list, but now I already finished them because they are a gift. But essentially they are the Elsa Mittens from the book 52 Weeks of Easy Knits. This is what the sample here looks like. And yeah, I already finished them. I might make a second pair actually to gift to someone else because I think these turned out beautifully. So I guess it'll still like, it's still like a list item on my things to knit this winter. I think these are just so beautiful. Yeah, I love the stitch pattern. Like it was super easy. It's just pearls and knits. And yeah, I think it's always nice to gift something. And these literally, like one of these took me like less than a day to make. I'm gonna add these with the asterisk, so I've already made them, but I'm probably gonna make another pair. Okay, and then there are two more items that I wanna kind of put on this list, but also realizing that the winter is not too long and like the list is already pretty long. But the first one I want to make is another zipper sweater light by PetiteKnit. So I'm almost finished making my first one for my partner. So it's a male's size. It's just like very big, very bulky, because that pattern, I'll put a picture in here, but that pattern is just like very bulky. It's not very like a slim fit sweater. So it's just like a lot of yarn, a lot of material going on. But I think it's gonna turn out really well. So once I finish that one, I might want to make one for myself, and I've actually already kind of ordered the yarn for it. So I ordered like a sweater amount of yarn because we needed to order another skein for the one I'm currently making because I ran out of yarn. So kind of to get to the shipping, I was like, well, might as well order another sweater amount. So I ordered the Bluefaced Leicester fleece again for that one, which is the yarn I'm making my current one in. And yeah, so if I get around to it, I'll probably start on it. It is like a really like pretty mindless pattern once you get to the body because there's just so much stuck in it. So yeah, I'm putting this on here, but also realizing that probably will be a next winter kind of situation, but who knows, maybe I'll, you know, I do have a lot of plane rides, so I like knitting on planes, so maybe we'll get lots done there. And then the last item that I want to include on this list that I would love to make, but I'm not really sure what yarn I'm gonna make it, and that's why it's unlikely that if I have more time, is another pattern from here. Can you tell that I'm really inspired by this book right now? And that is the Fuzz vest. So it is this like slip over, but it's a vest, so it's like it has buttons, or it's open at the beginning, at the front, and maybe this is a good picture down here. It's essentially this like very fluffy yarn, very large gauge. The gauge is like 10 stitches per 10 centimeters. So yeah, so it should be a really quick project if I do have the time for it. But for that to happen, I need to find the yarn first. So of course I can order it online, but I think for a vest like this, I want to like look at it, I want to feel it, I want to touch it. So let's see if I find the yarn for that. I mean, we are traveling quite a bit, so maybe in one of the places I travel to, like, I'll find the perfect yarn for it, which is something I really like doing, because then I kind of have like sweaters from different countries, although I'm like making them here. I think that's just like a really fun way for me to get souvenirs, because I don't really need other like forms of souvenirs. So yeah, we'll see. The vest I think is really pretty, is really like just a nice piece to be able to wear on top of anything really. So hopefully maybe I'll make this one. I think it'll be a pretty quick project, because I mean it's 10 stitches per 10 centimeters. Like, I'm working on a project right now, my zipper sweater, that's like 21 stitches per 10 centimeters, so that's like a lot more. So 10 stitches sounds pretty great right now. I think everyone who's made a sweater or a larger garment with like anything over like 21, 22 stitches, it's quite the marathon, so something to kind of clear the palette a little bit can feel nice. But yeah, so those are kind of like my larger items that I'm planning on making this winter. Noting like that I will also spend a lot of time on planes and just traveling and in hot places. Like, I will probably also make a bunch of socks, a bunch of like smaller items that I just haven't really chosen yet. I am kind of like into the idea of designing my own socks, like designing another sock pattern. So maybe that's something that I'm gonna entertain a little bit more come January, when it will be 30 degrees out for me. But yeah, stay tuned, we will see. But these are kind of the things that I really want to make. I'm super excited to get started, or to continue in the best case. But yeah. Well, I think that's it for today. I would love for you to leave a comment down below what you're planning on making this winter. Maybe I gave you a little bit of inspiration. I always like love watching these videos of other people, seeing what they're making. I love looking at books. Like, I have two here that are just like, oh, flipping through these is like one of the nicest things, because then I have so many new ideas. So yeah. I'd love for you to leave a comment down below, like I said, like this video, subscribe, all those things, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Take care, bye!